The internet gets better and better. Every time you scroll, you find people who talk before they think. It began as online mockery, but the people doing it are realizing now there's actions because of their words. People who have been mocking the death of Charlie Kirk and glorifying his killing are now losing their jobs, and they're crying about it's free speech, it's my free speech. No, it's not. You are celebrating the murder of another person just because of what he had to say. That's not free speech. That's darkness. That's barbaric. And people, I'm sorry, you mock the murder of another innocent person because of what he had to say. You deserve to lose your job.
As we continue to learn more about the alleged assassin who shot and killed Charlie Kirk, we're also seeing a cascade of people being fired for their comments, appearing to celebrate Kirk's passing, including Office Depot, which fired a worker for refusing to print a memorial poster. Also, the NFL's Carolina Panthers football team said they fired an employee for a social media post appearing to mock Kirk's death. And then Bengals player nonprofit, the Joe Burrow Foundation, also fired an advisory board member who they say made inappropriate remarks in light of recent events. News Nation's Jorge Ventura live with more. And Jorge, we know the list is growing of more workers being fired from their jobs. What's the latest on this?
Yeah, that's right, Natasha. Those firings are racking up, and many of those social media posts either mocking or celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk are actually being amplified by conservative influencers or activists with large accounts. Some of these accounts, like Libs of TikTok, have over 4 million followers and are encouraging their audience to contact the employers of those making the posts. And one of those companies facing the online backlash from Kirk supporters is Delta Airlines, the company announcing the suspension and investigation into some of their employees, saying that their social media posts went well beyond healthy, respectful debate and that they were in stark contrast to the company's policies. We've also seen the NASDAQ firing a junior level employee on Friday as well. The NASDAQ also citing zero tolerance policy towards violence and commentary that condones or celebrates the murder of Charlie Kirk. And we are seeing this across the board in different jobs.
And those aren't just some small businesses. Those are large corporations. Office Depot, the Carolina Panthers, the Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow Foundation, Delta Airlines, NASDAQ. The people who worked for these places, who are now either suspended and under investigation or have lost their jobs, deserve what they are getting. You are glorifying the murder of a man for simply speaking his mind. And we've all seen it in the last week or so, or since this happened. Charlie Kirk was nothing but hateful. Everything came out of his mouth was hate speech. And that is so far from the truth. This is left-wing lunatics crying because they can't celebrate the murder of another human being. But if the roles were reversed, and the man on that stage was African American, and he was killed by a white man, what do you think would be happening today? We haven't seen any riots, no cities burning, no violence, no attacks on police officers. All we have seen is prayer vigils in the honor of Charlie Kirk. So we are not the same. Conservatives and liberals are not cut from the same cloth. But those big companies, that's not it. It's all over the internet, TikTok for one. People are just having fun with this and glorifying the killing of another human being.
Thousands of people have gone online celebrating the passing of Charlie Kirk, and many of them are now losing their jobs. Many of the people you've seen cheering on the passing of Charlie Kirk started with this man who just moments after Charlie Kirk was struck right in front of him was cheering on video that Charlie Kirk was hit. Then you have this woman who was a nurse going on TikTok celebrating the passing of Charlie Kirk, and now people have found out where she works and are talking to her employers. This man who wrote this entire statement here is actually in the military, and people have already alerted Pete Hegseth, who is essentially this man's boss, and will probably be trying to do something about it. You have another woman who is a 2nd and 3rd grade teacher's aide who was posting about that she wished she would have heard of another obituary talking about Donald Trump, but instead she would settle for Charlie Kirk. And this man, probably the most prominent person to be fired after their comments on Charlie Kirk, was Matthew Dowd, who was actually working at MSNBC and went on air saying some absolutely terrible things. But more and more of these videos are coming out, and more of these people are going to be losing their job.
So if anything should happen to these people, the ones on TikTok, at the very least, ban them from using their platform. Because again, for the 3rd or 4th time, they're glorifying violence. This was nothing more than a political assassination just because Charlie Kirk was a Christian and he had certain beliefs and he wanted to talk to other people about his beliefs. He wasn't trying to radicalize people. He never, ever called for violence. He only spoke his truth, and he wanted to hear other people's opinions of what he had to say. And that kid who took his life, according to news sources, is not cooperating with the authorities, but everyone he knows, his family, his friends, and his transgender girlfriend, are helping authorities. So it's going to play out in the court system, and this kid, in my hope, receives the ultimate penalty, and that is the death penalty. Utah still has it. He can receive that on the federal side. He needs to be made an example of. And now I'm not saying you're going to say, oh, now you want him killed because he killed somebody. No. He took a life because he didn't like what Charlie Kirk had to say. What do you think he deserves? What kind of punishment do you think he deserves? Drop it in the comments, because life in prison on the taxpayer dime is too good for this kid. He deserves what he gave in this circumstance. Bottom line, end of story. He is a domestic terrorist. He took the life of an innocent person for his own gratification because he was butthurt. He was offended that Charlie Kirk spoke about Christianity and anti-abortion and marriage and family and so on. The kid couldn't handle it. Now he deserves to be punished to the fullest extent of the law.